New data from food banks. Canada warns that poverty and hunger are normalizing in the country, with monthly visits reaching close to 2.2 million, double the number of monthly visits in 2019. Let's get more on this from Kirstin Beardsley, CEO of Food Banks Canada. Kirstin, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
A frightening number, and it keeps growing. And I think what's scary is the number of people who are working who are now turning to you.
Yeah, that's one of the numbers that we're tracking really closely. It used to be that the number of people who worked who used food banks was sitting at around 11, 12% for a number of years. And now as the overall number of folks who need food banks grows, so is the number, the portion of folks who are employed. And so now 1 in 5 food bank users have a job.
And I mean, that number never ceases to amaze me. Is there more business could be doing to help their employees when it comes to this?
Well, what we're seeing right now is folks, in particularly on the lower income spectrum of the economy, are spending more than their income coming in on essentials. So we're seeing people spend about 70% on housing. Overall, it's about 125% of their incomes they spend on essentials like housing, like food, like transportation to get to jobs. So we need to see wages keep up the pace with costs. But it's also every sector of the economy. So we did a lot of surveying of folks to try to more deeply understand this issue. And it was everyone from all different types of sectors who are struggling to make ends meet right now. And these are our neighbors, and we all need to step up, and we all have a role to play for sure.
And I imagine these people are doing everything they can to avoid coming to you.
Absolutely. So, people don't go to food banks without a lot of thought. There's often a lot of sense of, shame. Folks should do feel. I would reiterate that they shouldn't. That's why food banks are here. That's why communities come together. But people don't easily go to a food bank. I think of seniors who are so proud, who are going to their cupboards and seeing them bare. It takes a lot for a senior to make that call and to come down that first time. This is not an easy decision. So it's tough for folks, for parents who are skipping meals. We see that all the time. Parents skip meals so that their kids can eat, so that their kids don't feel that there's an issue in the home. And, it's when they can't feed their kids that's when the decision is to come to the food bank. So these are, they're numbers and they're hard to hear, but they represent real people and real stories in every community across Canada.
And that the children who are needing your help, about a third of the people you're helping now are kids, and that food at that age is so important that they get healthy food in them.
Exactly. I mean, these are kids who are not going to school, able to focus and learn and thrive the way kids should be able to, and the way we need them to, right? We've got a lot of challenges as a country. We need the next generation ready and able and equipped to meet those challenges. And that means going to school every day with a full belly, with nutritious foods. And yeah, a third of the people who rely on food banks in Canada, that's a staggering number, are children. It's something that I hope we never get desensitized to. I hope it doesn't ever start to feel normal that this many kids need food banks every month in Canada.
And we hear about record profits for like Loblaws and places like that. Is there more they could be doing?
Yeah, there's more that all of us could be doing. I mean, we certainly see that every sector of the economy should be aware and supportive of reducing this issue. Our focus today in Hunger Count is on government action. When you've got 2.2 million visits to food banks, when every year you're breaking a new record, we need society to step up and governments to step up to reverse these trends. So we've got a lot of actions that we think are practical for governments to take that will help see 2026 hunger count come down, but it certainly will take all of us in society to make a difference.
And what is something the government could do right now that would make a difference almost immediately?
So EI reform is one of the things we're really pushing. We're seeing unemployment numbers tick up as people lose their jobs. They shouldn't be falling off this deep cliff into deep poverty because, as I've said, the math doesn't work. When you're in sort of the lower end of the income spectrum, you're spending more money than you pull in on essentials. And so we need people to be supported so that they can get back into the workforce as quickly as possible. And yet EI was built for the workforce of the 1990s, certainly certainly doesn't meet the needs of today's workforce. So that's one of the things we're really pushing. A groceries and essentials benefit. This is a targeted benefit to low-income folks so that they can go and pay for essentials like groceries rather than having to rely on community supports like food banks.
And is this a big city thing, or is this across the country?
This is across the country. We have seen a staggering growth in food bank use from coast to coast to coast, literally in every community. We're looking at a doubling of food bank use in the last 6 years. And so none of us are untouched. And even if you aren't someone who uses a food bank, we know folks are generously supporting their food banks. But this is something that I think about as the future. What future of our country do we build when a quarter of the population is food insecure, when 2.2 million people need food banks every single month? We aren't building ourselves up to be the strong country that we need to meet the challenges of the future. And so it affects all of us, whether you're directly impacted by food insecurity or not. This is impacting our future as a country.
Okay, Kirstin, thank you very much for joining us today, and hopefully one day we'll see you out of business. We would all love to see that.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Kirstin Beardsley is the CEO of Food Banks Canada.